Hey Frank, Andre seemed pretty excited about being in practice and how practice went. Just wondered what you observed about him from your end.
Yeah, he looked great, and I thought our group, felt sort of an uptick in energy, having a guy like that come to our team mid-season, someone we know that can help us. It's a good guy. It's going to fit in with our chemistry and everything, and he played really well. He does what he does. The offensive rebounds, runs the floor extremely well, stole the ball several times, using his active hands and everything we thought we were going to get in him. He showed in practice today, and we're excited about rolling him out there.
Frank, he maintained that he worked really hard to stay in shape and that he felt fine. He wasn't winded and said that he was going to play tomorrow. I just wondered if you had an idea on role, on lineup, and minutes, all those kind of things, and what you expect against Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's going to start tomorrow night, and we'll keep an eye on his minutes. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. He does appear to be in very good shape. It's clear that he's worked really hard during this time that he's been off, and but there's no true simulation like playing in a game. So we will recognize that it's been a while since he's been in an NBA game, and be sure not to overdo it, and take a long-term approach with it. But he seems to be in very good shape.
And Wiki, please.
Frank, you mentioned he'll start tomorrow night. Obviously, those kinds of decisions have ripples to other players. How did Mark take that news, especially considering kind of the road he's had to travel the last few months, last, I guess, 3 weeks or so with COVID and everything like that?
Yeah, Mark's had a difficult run with with the health and safety protocols and some other things, and all I can say is he's loved here. Like, these guys respect him so much, and he's been a true pro, in handling this. And we're like I said, we're going to need all three of our centers throughout this playoff push, this championship run, hopefully. And he's a true pro.
I think there was a report today that said that he could potentially maybe seek a buyout or something like that. Has he expressed any of that to you, or has he expressed a willingness to kind of stay and figure this out?
We've not talked about that. So.
Dave McMillan.
Frank, how do you get to know Andre now? Like, did you make it a point of, trying to spend a little extra time doing individual film sessions with him or anything like that? And I guess the bigger picture question is, and he was asked about it yesterday and said his focus is just on right now, but is there any thought of, hoping that this experience goes well so he could be a long-term member of the program?
Well, that's certainly what we're hopeful for. The summer will play out, and we'll let that happen when it happens. But we want him to help us during this championship run this season. But we're hopeful that he's a Laker for a long time to come. That's what we're envisioning. We think he's going to be a key piece for us. Both in the short term and the long term.
Hey Frank, obviously, I'm sure there's just an aspect of wanting to see what Andre can do out on the court tomorrow night. What's sort of the balance of, hey, when you go out there, let's see if we can do a couple things that are within our scheme, and just sort of letting him kind of just run a little bit and get a sense for his, abilities and limitations as a player.
Yeah, that's what this early stretch is going to be about. Putting him in situations so we can evaluate how he does, with certain offensive and defensive situations, and see how we need to adjust as a coaching staff in terms of using him appropriately.
Andy Kamenetsky.
And Frank, kind of piggybacking on what Kyle just asked you, Andre talked about how in practice he was already looking to make plays for new teammates, and he's actually, as a passer, grown a lot over the last few years. How do you, as a coach, sort of figure out your own comfort level there in terms of having him do that sort of thing, but it's kind of on the fly right now?
That's pretty simple. We are hell-bent on creating an on-the-court culture of extra pass basketball and teamwork and playing for each other. And, that's just culture that we created last year, that we took to an NBA championship. And, that's the way you win in this league. You have to have on-court chemistry, on-court togetherness. And it doesn't matter who you are or what your skill set is, you know, that your job is to attack, to draw, to either finish at the rim, draw defense, and make the extra pass. You know, it's a pretty simple philosophy, but one that we're very committed to achieving on the floor. And I actually thought we had one of our best passing games of the year against Orlando, even though we couldn't make a shot. You know, we shared the basketball at an appropriate level, play the right way. You know, and that's what will be asked of Andre, just like everyone else.
So then Brad Turner. BT, I think you're still muted, sir.
Hello, Frank. How are you?
What's up, BT?
Things all good, man. You know, Andre played with KCP and Marquette and Detroit. Did you notice anything today, or have you noticed anything the last couple of days about how they try to help him a little bit more, and can that help him going forward?
Yeah, you know, they just, like the rest of the guys, you know, would pull him aside and show him certain things. You know, there was a little bit of that. You know, I know he's close with KCP in particular, so I think it's good to have some familiar faces around you when you join a new team, and you know, that should help with his transition.
Back to Dan.
Hey, Frank. I think, you know, obviously there's a getting used to sort of other players and that sort of a process, but do we overblow kind of the playbook side of a new player coming into a team, considering like this is a guy who's been in this league for, you know, a healthy chunk of time, who's played for a lot of different coaches, played for a lot of different systems. Like, he's probably got a pretty big bandwidth for this stuff, right? Is that part of it pretty easy?
Yeah, he was very quick to pick up, you know, the limited package that we gave him today. You know, it's pretty simple. Every team in this league runs the same action anyway. So, I mean, it's just what are you going to call it? You know, what's your names for things? What's your terminology? You know, and then what are the subtle execution pieces? So, you know, like I said, he was quick to pick up the action that we put in and gave him today in terms of a starting package. And, you know, I think that transition shouldn't take long.
All right, let's have the last two questions, please. Let's go back to Kyle.
Hey, Frank. I'm sure you probably juggled minutes at a lot of different positions on a lot of different teams you could have, but specifically last postseason when you were kind of managing the center position between AD, Dwight, and JaVale, and obviously some of those guys sit for series, did you learn anything, or did you come away with sort of any best practices that maybe help inform the situation you have now with Andre, Mark, and Trez?
From last year, I mean, I think everything you do, you know, gives you experience for the next situation you encounter. You know, but this is just one of those things that all three of those guys got to recognize how important they are to our team. You know what I mean? And you know, we intend to use them, and we intend to hopefully win a championship with all three of those guys. So, you know, it's not much more complicated than that. You know, we have to keep everyone sharp, getting opportunities, and you know, when your number's called in a certain matchup, or if there's injuries or whatever, like, you know, those guys got to stay ready. It's my job to keep them ready. You know, so that's going to be the plan going forward, and we're going to need all three of them.
And final question, please, Jordan Richard.
Hey, Coach. This team is very good defensively, and, you know, Andre Drummond being a player that, you know, is able to get steals and play really good defensively. How do you feel like this team is going to be with him, and how was it in practice today with him defensively?
Well, he had a million steals in one practice, so maybe some of them were fouls, but I think we were letting him get away with a little more than usual. But he has exceptional hands, you know, in pick and roll defense, in post defense, pressuring bigs that are trying to facilitate from the top of the key. And, you know, I think that's really going to be a strength of what he brings to the table defensively for us.